friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and GodTube, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
At 97, this man still visits the barbecue restaurant he waited a lifetime to open. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. At the ripe age of 97, this man still visits the barbecue restaurant he waited a lifetime to open. When many might imagine life slowing to a quiet whisper, John Toomey is still rising each morning before the sun, tying on his apron and walking into the smoky heartbeat of his dream come true. "Good morning, everything okay?" John asks his staff during his rounds, checking brisket, greeting the restaurant dog Smokey, and laughing with the kind of joy that only comes when a man is truly alive in his purpose. This isn't a hobby, and it isn't about what makes a good barbecue. It's about the holy gift of chasing a dream, even when decades have passed, even when your hair is white, even when the world thinks you should be sitting still. John's passion was first lit at 12 years old when he borrowed bricks from neighbors to build a makeshift pit and smoked his first meat. Though life took him on another path, law school, raising a family, building a career, it never snuffed out the spark. 8 decades later, at the age of 93, he finally opened J Bar M Barbecue in Houston's Edo district, named it after himself and his beloved wife, Michelle. "Yeah, I loved her very much," John said tenderly. The letter M, a forever tribute to her. That kind of love is sweeter than any brisket sauce you'll find anywhere. 4 years later, at 97, John still walks into his restaurant like a man coming home. His grandson Charles calls him his hero. "Remember those Don Equus commercials about the most interesting man in the world? That's my grandfather, 100%, Charles says. What's the secret to John's longevity? It isn't just brisket and ribs, though he jokes it might be. It's staying busy, it's moving, it's showing up. Every morning, he walks laps around his backyard, then lifts weights. Then he heads to the restaurant, greeting staff and customers alike, keeping the fire burning. Get off the porch, do something alive, and they'll enjoy life more and live longer," John advises with a grin. Maybe John's story is a reminder for all of us who wonder if our chance has passed. For the woman in her 60s who thinks she's too old to start a new business. For the man in his 70s who thinks his voice isn't needed anymore. For every weary heart that has quietly buried its dreams. John's life is proof it's never too late. If God has planted a dream in your soul, he hasn't forgotten it. Not at 37, not at 57, not at 97. Your age is not a limitation, only your mind of what ifs. So, what if you pulled the dream back out of the drawer? What if you dared to believe it isn't too late? What if your best chapter is still waiting to be written? As John Toomey tends to brisket with his weathered but steady hands, he embodies this truth. Our lives can still blaze bright, even in their later chapters. Sometimes the sweetest smoke rises after the longest wait. So get off the porch, pick up the dream, live boldly, and maybe, just maybe, eat more barbecue. Philippians 1:6. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus.
You know, the Bible tells us, "I will bless those who bless you." That's not just a nice sentiment, it's biblical prophecy. And it's a commandment from God, it's a calling, and right now we're called to act. The teachings of the New Testament are deeply intertwined with the Hebrew Scriptures. As Christians, we are called to honor and respect this shared heritage. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Romans 11:18, "Do not consider yourself to be superior to those other branches. If you do, consider this. You did not support the root, but the root supports you." Supporting the people of Israel is more than a belief. It's a biblical mandate. By partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, IFCJ, we can live out this calling together. Just as the fellowship blesses God's children, we know that you will be blessed too. Learn more about the fellowship and how you can live out your faith, bless Israel, and be blessed in return. Visit ifcj.org today. Again, that's ifcj.org. Be the blessing, live the word, answer the call.
What if you could thrive no matter what life throws your way, regardless of what it is you want in life? The difference between success and failure is resilience. Fortunately, the skills of resilience can be learned. In her latest book, Rules of Resilience, best-selling author, speaker, and CEO Valerie Burton teaches you how to build or strengthen your personal resilience. With over 2 decades of coaching experience and expertise in positive psychology, Burton distills cutting-edge research into practical strategies that empower you to conquer obstacles, bounce back from setbacks, and succeed at higher levels than before. Learn how to grow through challenges and not just go through them. Rules of Resilience offers easy-to-follow rules showing you how to build a level of mental and emotional strength that will transform every aspect of your life, from work and relationships to finances and health. Ready to unlock life-changing resilience? Find Rules of Resilience by Valerie Burton at your favorite bookstore today.
A 74-year-old Arizona man is found after being stranded in the wilderness for 3 days. Written by Michaela Gordoni, read by Julie Provost. It's a miracle. A 74-year-old Arizona man was found after being stranded in the wilderness for 3 entire days. He wouldn't have made it another day if it weren't for hunters who spotted his vehicle. Mike Johnson, who suffers from Parkinson's disease, went missing on August 27th. Despite large search parties and community support, it was rangers responding to the vehicle tip who finally found Mike after 3 days, lying in a field after they saw his side-by-side vehicle in Walnut Canyon, Navajo County. Mike was in critical condition and was unresponsive when the hunters found him. He would not have survived one more night there, said Chrissy Day, a family friend. She says Mike was rushing home and got lost. He had survived by making fires at night and taking shelter in his vehicle. When they found him and he was breathing, our prayers were answered, Christy explained. He is a miracle, and the Lord had his hand in this. Mike was airlifted to the Herber Fire Station, where he received immediate attention. He was later airlifted to the Flagstaff Medical Center, where he was placed in the ICU. If you're lucky enough to know the Johnsons, then you know they're the kind of people who would drop anything to help others, said Brittany Hudson, who organized a GoFundMe for the family. More times than not, they are leading a helping hand to others around them, and now they are needing our help. He's making progress each and every day, but still has a long road of recovery ahead of him, Brittany said. The funds raised through the GoFundMe will help offset the cost of the medical bills, including flight, hospital, treatment, and rehab. Leftover funds will be donated directly to the search and rescue teams who worked tirelessly to find lost loved ones. We know without them we would not have Mike home. Christy said Mike's rescue is a modern-day miracle and spoke for Mike's wife, who wanted everyone to know how great the community up north was in Herber Overgard and how everyone pulled together. And she wants to give thanks to all those search and rescue teams and the sheriff's department up there that came together, and she wants to thank God. Wow, to think that the Rangers found Mike just in time to save him is incredible. Thank God that he was found at last. His family is relieved, and he is now on the road to recovery.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.